Hello, welcome to Yin to Vinyasa Yoga. And in this class, we're going to do our nice little opening. We're going to do some Yin style poses, holding them for about a couple minutes. And then we're going to transition into a nice little flowy practice, nice little balance challenge. And then we'll come back down to the floor. We'll do a couple things and have a really great Shavasana. So for today, if you want to have a blanket to sit on, any kind of knee cushion, you want to use it for your final Shavasana practice, feel free to bring that in. I am going to use a bolster for a supported back bend that we're going to do today. You can also use a pillow or a stack of blankets. And then I'm just using one block today for the vinyasa portion of the practice, but you can always bring in two in case you need it. And other than that, you shouldn't need anything else. We'll go ahead and start. We'll start in a nice, comfortable, zipping up from the pubic bone behind the navel, nice and tall, from the sits bones throughout the top of the head. I'm going to take just a slight tuck of the chin just to lengthen the back of the neck a little bit here. And then as I'm here, I'm just going to take a moment to assess where am I holding, where I could soften. So I just kind of noticed I was actually holding around the ankle. So I just kind of let that go. Maybe we're holding around the hips, the shoulders, the jaw, on the forehead, on the eyes. Maybe we're even holding a little bit in the chest and preventing the chest from getting a nice big breath. So let's try to get that nice big breath here. Big inhale through the nose, expand the ribcage. And slowly release. Now you can also release this through the mouth. I'm releasing through the nose because when we inhale and exhale through the nose, it's actually a little bit more calming to the nervous system. Just taking a few rounds. Inhale to expand. Exhale to release. Inhale to expand. And exhale to release. Let's take the fingers to the side, palms turning up. Inhale, we'll take the arms up overhead. We'll touch them together, and then we'll bring them down into heart center. Creating an intention for this practice. What would you like to give, receive from this practice? And always dedicate this to yourself, someone, or something, whatever resonates with you. And once you have that set, good. We'll inhale and reach. We're going to take a nice side bend to the left. So my hand, shoulder, and hip are going to come into this alignment here. I'm keeping the opposite hip grounded. I reach the top arm up and over. And I want a nice long arm here. That'll open up the side body a little bit better. And also notice if you have a tendency to collapse forward, aka go into rotation, and could you just find that this basic lateral flexion instead? And then from here, I'm going to use the obliques, the side abs to come back up. And we'll take that to the other side. Same alignment on this side, reaching, lengthening, staying with that breath. And then once you're ready, good, we'll inhale, exhale, and coming back up. Reaching up, gentle rotation towards the left. Once you get where you're going, your arms can come down, rolling the shoulders back. Use your back hand to press into the floor, helping you keep that length. Shoulders are down and back. Maybe we look a little bit more behind us. So we know we're going too deep into a twist if we cannot expand the rib cage in a twist, or if we feel a cranking sensation through the low back. We never want to crank, and we always want to be able to breathe and expand. And inhale to lift, exhale, come to center. And we'll reach, and we'll rotate. We'll take those arms down. Back hand's going to press into the floor. Find your length, and rotate. Breathing and expanding. And then when we're ready, inhale and lift, and exhale, come together. Good. We're going to come to all fours here real quickly and just loosen up the back a little bit through some cat-cow. Always bring in some knee cushion as needed. I'm just going to move my blanket out of the way. Spreading my fingers nice and wide, reading through the knuckles of pinky, pointer, and thumb. Now, I didn't bring this in here, but if being on your wrist bothers you, like they don't like this hyperextension, you've got a couple things. So you can roll the front part of your mat up. You'll let your hands kind of rest there. That'll give them a little bit of a lift. It's a little bit easier. If you've got a blanket, you can do the same thing with that, depending on, how deep you need a lift or not. So maybe you need something not quite that high. So there's different options here. You can also come onto your forearms here. And if coming to the forearms is too deep with your block at the lowest setting or the middle setting, and you do need to have two, you can take your forearms on the block. Just make sure that your elbow is supported on the block for comfort if you're going to use it. So if you're going to follow me onto the hands, spread the fingers nice and wide, root through the knuckles of the pinky, pointer, and thumb. Knees are going to be under the hips. They can be slightly wider if you've got a cranky low back, and the tops of the feet will be down. Good. I'm pressing away from the floor. Belly button is in. Inhale, nice cow pose. Exhale into cat pose, looking towards the thighs. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Good. One more time through. Inhale, cow. And exhale into cat. Good. From here, I'm just going to sink back real quick, just a little child pose to say decompress the wrist. And when you're ready, we're going to take this into our first yin pose. Now, this is something that we see a lot in a flow-based class, and we're going to do that here. I'm going to bring my blanket in to sit on. Good. And you know what? I'm going to give you one of two options. So I'm actually going to sit this way just so you can see better. Okay. Some of you will want more of a hamstring stretch and your outstretched leg for this one. So if that's you, you can follow me. You're going to bring, this is my left leg and my right foot's going to come in. We're going to end up taking a forward fold here. Okay. Some of you might want to get a little bit more into the inner thigh. And if that's you, you're going to take that left leg out to the left, not your widest. You want your body to be able to have space to open up. And then the right foot will come in and you're going to fold forward this way. Okay. So whatever one that you're going to choose, we're going to do this for 2 minutes. 2 minutes. So I'm going to come back here. Good. And then from here, big inhale to reach, exhale, long spine from the hips, no matter what version you're doing. Good. When you can come no more, take the hands down. And then I'm going to be right here for a moment before I go into any C curve. I just want to make sure everything feels okay here. Breathing and expanding. And you want to be mindful in these yin poses. You want to, initially when you first come into it, you want to think about your 85 to 90%. We don't want to go to our mat straight away. And when your body is ready to sink deeper into your pose, it'll let you know, and it'll typically let you know on an exhale. So from here, I know I'm safe, so I'm just going to kind of reach forward. You can continue to keep a longer spine. You can allow yourself to fold in. And just breathe. So think more about the chest or the navel coming towards the thigh or the floor versus the nose trying to come to a thigh or a floor. Expand the rib cage on the breath. Relaxing around the eyes and the forehead and clenching the jaw. Release from the shoulders. And again, as your body is ready, it can sink deeper if appropriate. And if not, then please do not. Any pain, numbness, tingling, burning, you want to come out. Good. And then from here, you never want to just jerk out of any pose. So I'm just going to walk my hands back up. Good. From here, we're going to take this to the other side now. So whatever version of this that you did on the side is the same one you want to do on the other side so that you're in balance. So for example, I did this version, so I'm going to do the same version on the other side. If you took the leg out wide, then you'll want to do that one here. Good. So once you're in position, big inhale and we'll reach. Long spine, the hinge from the hip. When you can come no more, good. Hands can come down. Good. And just pause there for a moment. Breathing, expanding, returning to your intention. The universe is telling me to have a different intention with each pose. So for this particular pose, that's going to be gratitude for this practice. Your intention can be anything you want it to be. It does not have to be what mine is. You do not have to have a different intention for each pose. I just tend to have good results when I follow what my intuition and universe tells me what to do. Good. And then when ready, then you can fold in as you're ready. And you don't have to fold in either. Remember, if just being in that first little segment where we pause, that's where you need to stay, then please stay. Breathing. Releasing around the face and the jaw. And here, good. Go carefully up. Good. So we went into, most of us probably went into a little bit of a forward flexion of the spine. So now we're going to go into some extension, so a little bit of a back bend with the spine to counter that for a moment. So for that, and different people have different levels of back bending. So there might be some of you where a folded blanket is all the support you need because a deep extension of the spine is not good for you. And so if that's the case, you want to put this, I'm just going to kind of show here. You just put this right in the mid back, and then you're just kind of opening here. Okay. So that's one way you can do it. You can also, just kind of depending, and you can roll things up, just kind of make a do with what you have. I'm going to use my bolster in here, one of my favorite back bending tools for yin. So if you're going to do what I'm doing with a firm cushion, then I'm going to take this cushion all the way up against my body. And knees can be bent, whatever you're using for your back bend. Knees can be bent or legs can be long. Your back will let you know what you should or should not do. Now, I'm going to come back here. I'm going to do this for 2 minutes. Your arms can be to the side. It can be back. I think I'm going to take mine back here. My ponytail's making this not real comfortable, but that's. And breathe and expand. My intention for this is compassion for other people. Compassion for other people. And that compassion is going to extend to those that might be bullied online, adult or minor. Now, if any time this becomes too intense, gently tuck the chin, roll to a side, and come back up. Make sure that you're coming up in a way that's safe for your body. Relaxing through the face. And then from here, I'll find the timing. Good. I'm going to tuck my chin. I'm going to gently roll over to one side. And then I'm going to carefully and slowly come back up. Now, depending on if you've got any kind of blood pressure issues, if you need to sit here for a moment, please do that. Nobody needs to pass out. Take the time, hit pause if you need to. When you're ready, good. We'll get back into it. So I'm going to take this bolster back up here now because I'm going to be done with it until Shavasana. And we're going to take this into a supine twist. So we're going to come onto our back. This is going to be 2 minutes on each side. So I'm going to come. I'm going to press my feet into the floor. I'm going to lift my hips. I'm going to shift them to the left. I'm going to cross the left leg over the right. I'm going to let those knees come all the way over. Now, honestly, actually, when I do that, I think I'm going to put a blanket here under. That's it. Yes, that's much better. And then we'll be here for a couple minutes. Now, if this is too intense for whatever reason, undo the cross and just let the legs stack and see if you can look in the opposite direction. Allowing the body to just kind of sink in. Breathing and expanding. And my attention for this one and the other side will be empathy. Empathy for others. Empathy for self. Stay with breath. So from here, head will come back. If you need to undo the legs and take one leg at a time, come back to center. Please do so. I'm going to carefully come back to center. Remember, we never want to jerk out of something. I'm going to undo my legs, press into the feet, and take my legs back to center. I'm just going to windshield wiper here for a moment. Good. Okay, so now, because I did this on the side, I'm going to move this blanket to the other side, do the same thing over there. So pressing into the feet, lifting the hips to the right, crossing right leg over the left, Yeah, letting those legs come over to the left. Breathe and expand. Are you looking to the right? And coming back to your intention. So on the other side, I felt some clicking around back into place. I don't feel that on the side. Maybe you feel something similar. As long as there's not pain involved, we're all good. Expand on the breath. I will come back to center, one leg at a time if needed. Very slowly bring everything back up to center. Undo the legs. Press the feet into the floor. And take the knees or the hips back to center. We'll wiggle, wiggle, wiggle here. Good. We're going to do a standing in pose in a moment. But before we do that, let's take the knees into the chest and just a nice little stretch here. And then once you're ready, in the way that's best for you, good. I'm just going to shift the hips to the left. I'm going to roll over to the right. If you need to stay here for a moment, please listen to your body and do that. I'm going to come up. Good. And then I'm going to make my way to all fours. Good. And then from here, good, with the assistance of my trusty block, good. I'm just going to take one foot forward and then come up standing, and we're going to come to a dangle. However, before we do that, it would feel good for you to just stand for a moment and reach, then allow yourself to do that. I'm going to make sure my feet are about hip width apart here, making sure I've got my time here. Good. And I've got my block here. So some people like to have a block during dangle. But from here, my belly button's going to be up and in. I'm going to let my feet come. Some people like to put their hands on that block and just be there. Some people not so much. Some people like a little head support here. My head doesn't quite touch that yet. You can also have another block come under here if you need to, but I'm working towards that. So here, good. Just letting the knees bend as needed, and letting the head and neck be free. You can grab opposite arms here if that would feel good to you. Breathe. So intention here is gravitating back towards gratitude. Gratitude that I have my health and can do these practices. Try to stay in all four corners of your feet.
Gently come to standing as you need to. You can also work on pressing the legs a little bit longer and maybe finding something there. So everybody needs to just do dangle the way that you need to, the way it's comfortable. Stay with breath. Come to your intention. Good. And then from here, move my block out of the way. Good. I'm going to take my hands to the floor. Good. We'll gently take the knees to the floor. We're going to come to a child's pose. So this is our starting the transition here between the yin to the vinyasa. You can take your child's pose any way that feels good to you. Knees together, as wide as the mat, somewhere in between. Arms going in front of you or hands tucked by the ankles. Breathe. And then when you're ready, I'm going to take my hands under my shoulders. I'm going to come up to all fours. I'm going to make my way to a downward facing dog. So taller people take a half a hand's width or full hand's width forward. Shorter people can stay right where you're at, spreading fingers wide, tucking the toes behind, shifting back, pressing in and forward into the mat with the hands, lifting the knees, lifting the hips. You might need to adjust where your feet are a little bit. You want them to be relatively hip width apart. As you push the floor away from you, your shoulders are away from the ears. From the shoulders without turning out the hands, can you just turn the elbows more towards the ceiling? With creating that nice, strong, stable shoulder girdle, you can lift and lower the heels. Good. I'm going to bend one knee, lengthening one leg at a time, pushing through those balls of the feet. This is walking the dog. Good. And then just finding some stillness. From downward facing dog, when you're ready, inhale, look forward, bend the knees, pressing with the feet and the legs, walk, step, or hop your feet forward to meet your hands. Come into that block if you cannot comfortably touch the floor. Pressing through the feet and the legs. We'll lift and lengthen halfway, hands to floor, block, shins or thighs, nice long back. Exhale and we'll fold. Pressing through the feet and the legs, long back. We'll come up. Exhale, hands to heart center, finding mountain, intention, and breath. From here, big inhale and we'll reach. Exhale and we'll fold. Pressing through the feet and the legs, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale and we'll bow. Pressing through feet and legs, rising all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Sun salute A. Big inhale and we'll reach. Exhale and we'll fold. Pressing through feet and legs, lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale and we'll planting the hands. We'll step back into a plank. Knees can be lifted or grounded. Good. I'm going to lower halfway. I'm going to push with my feet forward to come into my up dog. And then exhale, taking that into a downward facing dog. Finding the breath. From down dog when we're ready. Inhale, look forward, bend the knee, pressing with the feet and the legs. Walk, step, or hop your feet forward to meet your hands. Pressing through the feet and the legs to lift and lengthen halfway. Legs always take the load. never the back. Exhale, little bow. Pulsing through feet and legs. We'll rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Finding mountain, breath, intention. All right, let's take this into some warrior poses now. For this, because this will include a half moon, we're going to do this on the left side first. I'm going to encourage you to take your block at its highest setting onto your left side. So it's there if you need it for triangle or half moon. Big inhale and we'll reach. Exhale and we'll pressing through the feet and the legs to lift and lengthen halfway. Exhale and we'll bow. Planting the hand. Step or hop back to plank. You choose take or skip a flow. Now I'm going to skip this flow. Flowing is always optional. From your downward facing dog when you're ready, left leg is going to lift 3-point. We're going to bend that knee using the right leg and the foot to push you forward, step, or pick up and put that left foot forward between the hands. At this point, before we come up, this foot, try to get it forward of the knee here so you know it's far enough forward. If you've got your foot way back here, that's not good for the knee. You need to pick it up and put it more forward. Once you're here, good. I'm going to warrior prep that back leg. So hip, knee, and toe are going to turn out 45-ish degrees. You can have a heel to heel, heel to arch, or this leg can be out wider. Pressing into the feet and the legs will rise, and we'll set up for a warrior 2. Front hip's going to come back for me. Front knee can be bent or lengthened. And then I'm going to take my chest to the side without moving my hips and reach. Warrior 2. This leg's out a little bit wider for me on this side. So I'm going to come here. Front hip comes back. Front knee tracks towards pinky toe. Relax to the shoulders. Strong to the back edge of the back foot. With a bent front knee or a lengthened front leg, we're going to take that back into exalted. Looking up will be more of a balance challenge. Looking straight ahead will be less of one. If you're someone that likes to arm wrap or bind here, find what you like. Always returning to breath, always returning to intention. Inhale, exhale, warrior 2. I'm going to lengthen the front leg. We're going to take this into triangle. So my front hip is going to come back. That means the back hip comes forward. I'm strong to the back edge of the back foot. I'm keeping a micro bend in this knee, so I don't want it to walk out like that. So I want to keep it soft. Pressing through the back leg, it's a hinge from the hips. There is no curving of the spine. I'm going to reach, reach, reach. I'm pressing into my feet like I'm trying to rip this mat apart from one end to the other. And when I can come no more, a hand can come to the thigh, the shin. I'm going to take a block. Now I'm going to take my block to the middle setting here today. I've got a nice long torso. And then from here, good. I'm going to turn the chest towards the right. Keeping my right hand right over my shoulder. So my hand is not behind me. It's just right over that shoulder. If this is too much to the shoulder, you can always rest that hand here. And likewise, if it does not feel good to your neck to look up towards the ceiling, you can take your gaze anywhere that it is good for the neck. From here, I'm going to take my hand to my hip. I'm going to look down at that front foot. I'm going to grab my block. I'm going to grab it at the highest setting. I'm going to reach that block forward and to the left of the left foot. I'm going to put a bend in that left knee. Now I'm looking here for my alignment. My hip, knee, and toe are tracking forward. When I come up into this half moon, I don't want anything to turn inward or outward. I want to keep that. I can take this block more forward if I need to. You might get here in one lift. Good. I'm going to bring this block more forward. Good. You might take a toe tap or two. Good. Make sure you're good here, and then you can open. Good. And then the chest will continue to open, and then maybe you come here. And if this is too much, you can take both hands on the block and do a modified warrior 3. But try to grow out of that supporting leg. Good. Inhale, exhale. Good. I'm going to carefully take that down. Hands are going to come down. I'm going to reach that right leg back, planting the hands, front foot steps back, and we'll take or skip a flow. I'm going to do a modified one. I'm going to drop my knees here. Good. Good. And then taking it back to downward facing dog. Good. Now, while you're in your downward facing dog, I'm going to move my block to the other side just so that my backside is not facing you for the other side. Once you're here in your beautiful downward facing dog, right leg is going to lift 3 points, bending that right knee, pressing with that left leg and foot to bring you forward, step, or pick up and put that foot forward. And really get it up there. So again, see if you can get it more in front of the knee versus behind. And then from here, we'll warrior prep that back foot, heel to arch, or a little bit wider, pressing into the feet. Good, we'll come up. And then we'll reset up. Front hip is going to come back hip's going to come forward, knee tracks towards pinky toe, chest turns to the side. I'm going to reach, warrior two. So on this side, I've got a different alignment than I do on the other side. That's just how my hips are. Just notice that you might need something along those lines as well. Breathe, zip up through that front body with a bent front knee or a lengthened front leg. We'll take it up. Remember, looking up is more of a balance challenge, less of one if we look straight ahead. If you did a bind or a wrap at this point on the other side, find something similar here so we're in balance. And when we're ready, inhale, exhale, finding that warrior two. Good. And we'll find that triangle here. So I'm going to lengthen my front leg. This leg is actually going to come back a little bit. Good. My front hip's going to come back hip's going to come forward. Good. Pressing into my feet and my legs, I'm going to lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. When I can come no more, that block is on the outside of the right foot. Good. I'm going to come to my middle section here, and I'm going to take the chest towards the side, and then maybe that top arm comes up right over the shoulder. Front hip is back. Gaze is where your neck needs it to be. Hand is up over that left shoulder in the air towards the ceiling, or the hand can rest on the hip. Breathe. And then when you're ready, good. I'm going to take that hand to the hip. I'm going to look down. I'm going to put a bend in that front knee. Good. I'm going to grab my block, high as steady. It's going to go forward and to the right of the right foot, coming up. Good. Pressing into that right leg, right foot, opening to the left, and then maybe releasing that arm. Good. Breathing, breathing. I know it looks like my head is hitting my screens, but it's really not. I've got quite a bit of space there. Good. And then when you're ready, good. I'm going to take that back down. Good. Move the way that you need to move. Hands come to the floor. Reach that left leg back. Front foot steps back. Take or skip the last flow of this class. Once you've made it to your down dog, good. We're going to drop the knees. We're going to find a little child's pose here for a moment. Good. Noticing how you feel. How does this feel compared to that very first child's pose that we did? And then once you're ready, good. You're going to come up. Good. We're going to start to come down now. We're going to come onto our back. We're going to take a bridge pose first, a supine twist, and then go into Shavasana. Just kind of be mindful of that as you get your Shavasana items in line if you are going to use anything for your Shavasana. If I come down here, just readjust any clothing that needs to be readjusted, kind of wiggle those shoulders down. you need to take one leg long and then the other do so. We're going to come into a bridge. And we're just going to do a basic bridge here. So make sure that your heels are not too close or too far from the root. Your entire foot is going to be on the floor, and the hips, knees, and toes are going to stay in this alignment. So when we come up into the bridge, we don't want to turn the feet, the knees, or the hips inward or outward. They stay right here. And it's also not about pushing into the feet. We're also going to push into the arms and the shoulders as well. So zip up that front body. And then here we go, pressing into the feet, arms and shoulders. We'll lift up to that chest. You'll get a higher lift. If you feel like you're scooting backwards, your hamstrings are not doing what they need to do, take your knees a little bit more forward, and that will force them to do what they need to do. Breathing, head is center, don't turn it right or left. We're still pressing into those arms and shoulders. And then we'll gently take this down in the way that's best for your body. Once you come all the way down there, again, take your knees into the chest, and we'll rock side to side. This supine twist, we're going to do just a basic supine twist, and you may have chosen this one when we did the yin portion. But we're going to do it again because it is that good. So knees are going to come into tabletop, knees over hips, shins parallel to the floor. Arms can be out to the side. And I'm going to let my knees come all the way over to my left. As they come to the left, my right shoulder is crowded. I'm looking to the right. Breathe. Good. Head back to center. One leg at a time, or use your abdominals to bring both knees back in. Once you're back at center, reset if you need to. And we'll let those knees come all the way over to the right. Good. Looking to the left. Breathing and expanding. Head back to center, one leg at a time, or using your abdominals to come back in. Last time, knees into the chest. And we'll set up for our Shavasana here. So I love it when I've got a bolster because then I use it as an opportunity to do this nice restorative Shavasana. So I'm going to maybe, a little stuck on my mat here, take this bolster right under here. Good, that's gonna let my low back release a little bit. And then I'm gonna bring in my folded blanket, a little bit of a neck pillow here. Good, and then I'm just going to make any other little adjustments, see if you can make yourself about 10% more comfortable. And I'll leave you here for a few short moments. And returning to your intention one more time. Taking some deep breaths. Choosing stillness or inviting movement of fingers and toes. Maybe taking head and neck from side to side. Choosing stillness, taking knees into the chest. We use the bolster, maybe taking it out of the way. Maybe we would really like a full body stretch here, reaching from the fingertips to toes. And then whenever you're ready, gently bend in the knees, rolling over to your right or left side, the side that works best in this moment for you. Taking all the time that you need here. And then when you're ready, pressing yourself up to a comfortable seat where we started our practice. Taking a moment to notice how you feel will be better than when we started. Palms turning up. We'll reach up. As we touch the hands together and begin to bring them down, we'll stop the thumbs at the forehead for good and true thought, to the lips for good and kind words, and to the hearts for open and loving hearts. Knowing no effort on this mat is ever wasted, no gain is ever reversed. May you be safe. May you stay well. Have a wonderful day, evening, week, month, season ahead. Until we meet again, namaste.